My name's John-Daniel MacMaster. I'm a skipper for Inverlussa Marine Services, and we're currently up in Orkney working for Scottish Sea Farms on a 15 by 10 NABCAT. The main job's doing mooring work, and we just basically help out with anything else in between on sites, just general service. I've been with the company for about 7 years now, and I've done sort of various jobs with the company in that time, and worked on treatment boats and boats doing different things. And so just now doing mooring work. Mooring work for me is probably one of the more interesting parts of the job, because every day you've got kind of different challenges. There's a lot of kind of problem solving involved in it, and there's hardly 2 days the same on here. You're kind of doing different stuff all the time, and it keeps you on your toes. I'm from Harrickle, just a sort of wee place out in the sticks, about an hour sort of west of Fort William. I grew up there, and then went away to college, came back, and eventually ended up settling in Fort William now. I've got a girlfriend and 3 kids there, so keeps me busy in my time off. Fish farming sort of started for me, just going out on weekends with my dad. Used to work on a site for Scottish Sea Farms down the Mall, so I used to go out with him on weekends. But fish farming's obviously one of the main employers on the West Coast. And when I was 16, I got a job on a freshwater site, just working summer holidays and stuff. And I obviously thought that was brilliant, and it's so good that I couldn't possibly go back to school. So I did that for a couple of years, and I ended up actually mussel farming for a bit after that. I ended up getting a job here, which I didn't really expect, as a motorman deckhand on one of the treatment boats. So that was about 7 years ago, and I've kind of worked for the company as a engineer / motorman. One of the older boats that we've got, I got a bit of time skippering that myself, and went through my skipper's tickets, and the company put me through all that, and I did a bit of time on the Shandour, one of our older boats, and I was kind of back and forward between that and onto the mooring boat that I actually worked on, the Helen Rice. And then eventually the opportunity came up to get one of these boats. It wasn't this one, it was the Catherine Matheson, but the same size, same setup of boat, but just not the hybrid version. And I've been skippering now for about 4 years, I think. I worked 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off here, so it's just back on shift yesterday. I quite like it. For me, it allows you to sort of stay where you want, stay in the area you want to live, because there's not a huge amount of jobs like outside fish farming really on the West Coast. I travel up here and I get home the same day kind of thing, and that's me. I stay on board for 3 weeks. So the boat we're on just now is the Lawrence Knight. It was the first fully hybrid vessel in the company. It's actually, at that time, certainly it was the only hybrid workboat in Scotland. It's a 15-metre catamaran. It was built in Norway. We got it brand new in 2022. At that time we only had another one of these. It was built in 2018, and it's the exact same boat, other than it's just conventional diesel propulsion, whereas this one's same crane, all the same setup, but this is a hybrid version. So the main differences on here, for your propulsion, you've got two electric motors, one on each side, and they're into a gearbox and then straight into the shaft. Like, everything from the gearbox backwards is basically the same as a conventional diesel one, but for us, it's just, you've got 4 different power modes. You can use just batteries on their own, just a small generator, Caterpillar C9, just the big generator, which is a Cat C18, or you can use a combination of all of them together. And basically, just depending on what you're wanting to do or how much power you think you'll need, it's a case of pressing one of 4 buttons, and that's you've got that amount of power available. So it's anything from 70 kilowatts each side on your just running on batteries, to about 350 kilowatts each side on for your propulsion motors. and that would be with both generators running and drawing some power from the batteries as well. Once you get used to it, the boat's pretty straightforward for us. It's arguably easier to run than the normal diesel one. There's a lot less running hours on the generators for a start. So one of the main perks for us as well is just that the noise. Like right now, we're not plugged into the shore and there's no generator running. And when you're out on site or out doing mooring work, you can just be running off batteries. You can have the door open. You can basically have a conversation without shouting back and forth to the deck, and it makes it a lot easier for us being able to communicate kind of properly without the noise of generators in the background. I'd say overall the sort of jump, you're going to get teething problems with any new boat, but changing from, like, I worked on the one that I was on before was the exact same setup and everything, so I've had the chance to see how that one works and then compare it side by side with the hybrid version, and so it's got a lot of perks, and then yeah, just for the company it's a good step in the right direction for the carbon footprint, and it's obviously something everyone's trying to do throughout the industry, and hopefully it's something we'll see a bit more of. One of the things I like most about my time here at the company is it's probably one of the most challenging jobs in the industry, but it's sort of, that's part of the reason I like it really. You're competing with weather, and up here tide was a big thing, big learning curve with the tide up here. The tide around Orkney is pretty strong compared to the west coast. Like there's opportunities to go into different boats and do different things within the company. If you want to move, then they're quite good that way. Like if you've been doing something a while or want a new challenge, or building new boats pretty much every year, so there's always opportunities to move about, try different things, and it just keeps you going. It's not, a lot of jobs will get kind of boring after a while, but there's not much boring about this job. Like, it's obviously got its challenges, like breakdowns, things like that. New boats, new technologies. Like you're gonna have breakdowns and stuff, but it's all part of it, and it's just dealing with that, and you kind of get used to it. The company is basically trying to offer a boat that'll do. We've got boats in every part of fish farming really. Like feed deliveries, well boat now, and mooring boats, treatment boats, everything really. There's not much we can't do.